Coming up this week on TDL Synth Chat, we're going to be talking to Remco Khman, and Remco is a D70 user and programmer. That's the Roland D-70. Came out after the D15, before the JV80, and he's going to be talking about the D70 and why it's. He loves the synth, but it is a bit of a sort of flawed genius in some respects. It's got some issues that were primarily around the way that it would rush to market and the branding and everything else. So he's going to be explain to us about that. He's actually programming the brand new sounds on the D70. He played it back in the day when it came out in 1990, and then just a few years ago he got into actually creating the brand new patches for the D70 and the memory cards that goes with them as well. So it's a really interesting story. So I'm going to start off asking him about the D70 and its synth architecture. So it was the because one thing, interesting thing that we when we chatted on email, you mentioned about the sort of the gestation and the evolution of the D70. Was the D name that was like a sequel to a D50 or something? Was that one of the things that caught your eye, or was it just the specs and the sounds that you were interested in?
Yes, no, it was not the D name. Well, they picked that, of course, for the marketing. I'll do that later, to that point.
Yeah.
Why I think they made some choices with this instrument that not worked very well at some point. But no, it was more the keyboard, and I needed the piano sounds.
Yeah.
That was reasonable. And yes, it had not that much synth facilities. It was like the SI-77, which is a much more complex synthesizer than the Roland is. But well, okay, for what I wanted to do, yes, the Roland was the choice at the time.
Yeah.
It's 1990.
1990, and this was after the D50, which came out a couple of years before. So
there was a lot of going on, and Roland had, in 1988, a PCM module of U110, and that was PCM module, and it could not filter. Very basic instrument.
So PCM is ROM samples, isn't it, really?
Yes, it's just a sampled space machine. So in 1989 they had the U20, and then they came out with a D70 just 1 year after that, and it was also Eris PCM synthesizer, and not based on the LA technology.
So LA was linear arithmetic synthesis, wasn't it? And that was where they had little samples at the beginning of the sound, and then sort of more traditional analog synthesis for the tail of it, because memory was so limited, I guess.
Yes. Yes, that's correct, and it was a great system, and you have a great text from Roland about the D50 on the internet, and also about the time they developed the instrument, and they just basically said, well, we thought this could happen, and we worked on it, and luckily it worked. And it was a success. But there was a really great pressure from the management and the staff to go from the analog time, which Roland was there for the specialty, to go the digital way. So you have Takahashi. He made a visual development of the D50. and just he told that, and I think it's also they were behind. So the M1, SI77, so they had to rush something new on the market, and that's where the Rust development started. And you can see it with the D70 on different things. So you have the manual, and in the manual they tell you, well, we have pictures in this manual, but well, they could be not be the same as you see on your actual phone. And that's really true. So what do you see on those pictures? It's the D70, and is with all the U20 keyboard sounds and waves.
Right.
And it is correct. Many waves of the U20 are in the D70, but you say also waves that they left out on other stage. You see programs you don't have on the D70. So that's one of the signs they had really great pressure to come with an instrument. Another thing, you have the instruction video of Roland. It's on the internet. You can see it on YouTube now. But it was a VHS cassette you could buy.
Yeah.
And well, it's really interesting to view. Well, if you, there are some shots, and they let you see you the screen, and the performance screen from the Roland D70, it's blank. So they had to program it. So they made a video, but that was not available, and they put on that same picture from this is for the filter. Well, it's crazy, but yet from Roland also in the time complaining that they could not bring synths with better processors and more memory. And that was also because of our export limits. And,
all right.
Japanese export limits because they thought, well, maybe Russians will take the processor out of the synth and put it in submarines or something like that. So so they did the same processor of the U20, but upgraded processor from Intel. It's about 96 series. I'm not that technical, but well, the U20 had no filters, and the D70 they introduced the filter, and they kept the polyphony the same, so 30 voices. Well, but it was not working that good. So it's audible with the LFO, so it will slow down when you use more voices.
Oh, right.
So it makes with strange effects. And what you have if you I tested it with 98 BPM, and if you have a patch with 4 tones. So if you want play one key, you take a polyphony of 4 because of the mixture of the sound, and you play 4 notes. So it's 4, it's 16 voices, and then it slows down about 80 BPM. Of around 18 BPM about speed. And it's only this was a known problem, and they tried really to make it better. So they introduced new firmware from 1.11 to 1.12, they switched to another processor. At the time, Intel made you have the same processor types, but they made the processor something better, and so it's just a B type, and they adjusted the system so it could be better. So probably it was worse before with the LFO, but it still has the problem, and they never solved it. But at the time, I programmed some. I thought, well, can I make the U20 banks into the D70? Because most of it is the same, and you have two cards that have the missing waves of the U20 you don't have in the D70. At the time, I noticed it's not only the LFO that slows down, but you also have the ADSR, so the attack decay. Yeah. It's also, if you have more polyphony used, it will
slows the envelopes down.
Yeah, so it's a very lively instrument, and well, it's so that's probably because they had to do with a less processor, and they wanted to have that much polyphony. But if you compare to the D7 SI77, it only had 16 voices. So perhaps if they kept that much lower, it would be better. So that really didn't work that great.
So just on the architecture then, so the D70 is pure samples, but they did add a filter to it as well. So the difference between the D50 and the D70 then is that it's samples and the filter rather than the sample attack and analog style synthesis.
Yes. So at the time it was a super LA synthesizer. Yeah. They marketed it like the D50, but yeah, it's really a U50, and there was always on the internet some rumors about one technical one person that had seen one of the first D70s that came out and had still on the motherboard U50 written. That we now have from Edward D-Tech, the internet. He unsoldered the waveforms and loaded them in his computer, and there are 3 waveform names, internal names in the D70 that also reference to U50. So the instruments probably would be named U50, and the management choice, to make it sell better. They changed.
Yeah, so at the U20, I remember at the time not being that interested in the U20. I got a D20 around that time, and I think with 91, I think it was. But yeah, so the U series was never that interesting to me. The D series is where the great sound was. So when the D70 came out, I remember thinking, well, this must be the next big flagship. And I think if they had branded it a U50, it would have had less interest than it did. But then I suppose that also caught it out a bit because people were expected to be something it wasn't.
Yes. So that was really disappointing for many people that just went to the shop. Here is my D50, and I want the new instrument when it's available. And so yeah, really disappointing. About that, about the issues it has.
And also, yeah, the architecture, you said told before, the architecture is also very complicated because you have tones, and you have 128 tones. So in the tone you have the waveform, and you can adjust pitch, filter, the VCO, and VCA, and LFO. So that's all in the tone system. Then you go to the patch menu, and you have 128 patches available to program, and a patch can mix 4 tones, and you have still some about the octave settings, semitones, which you can do panning on a patch. And then you have performances, and with the performance you can add the effect.
Right.
And all the settings for aftertouch or things like that. Your pitch bend. So you have to go 3 stages really to get a good sound. And the 70 came with bank A full, but bank B only 8 patches. So you had 72 patches, and the rest was blank. no voice. So you have space available for you to program, and I think many people just didn't. And if you did, you can only program it from within the patch editor, because if you change one of the tones, these were filled already with 128 tones. So if you change one tone, it will change somewhere one patch. So you really didn't have that much possibilities. But the strange thing is, in the patch mode, you can also make settings for the filter and the resonance and the attack and the sustain. Do I say it good? I think. And so you can change a tone like that without really change the tone in the tone setting, and that is great for making other patches. But it's when you're programming in the tone edit, it's sometimes really confusing. But you change the parameter there, but why is it working? Because on the patch page,
it's in the next level up. Yeah,
it's in the next level up. You have the the attack already there, and it won't change on the tone way. So yeah, the architecture is confusing about many things. So that's one thing. So you don't know in which patch the tone you change is used. So you have to hold the administration yourself. And when you I did some programming for the U20, like I told, and then you're going to it's not the same system that changed something. You now have 128 like the of 127 like the MIDI values for volume, but attack, decay, and the U20 had like 28 steps. Right. So you you can't really compare. So I had to count just is it the same? And sometimes you had the same tone used. Like the piano on the U20 is penned from left to right, and the D70 is just normal stereo. But you have to make, you really have 6 on the U20, six waves used, and the D70 only has 4 available for a patch. But the same piano, if you have the same sound and you change it on the tone, and you think, I know it is longer sustained, so that's good. Well, you think that's okay, but it's only a changing from the one you have. So this is a bit complicated to tell, but you can change and you think, well, that's okay, but the other ones that sound on your patch program 134, and you change 2 and change 2 is okay with the tone, and you think that the tone would change for 134 also, but it's not. So it's only changed after you load the patch again.
Right.
So I sometimes had, I think now I have it. So you save the tone. And only after that, after reselect the patch, then you hear really what's what
you've done,
you've done. So that's also a bit you have not a compare function. So you can think it's better, but you always have to have free space on your machines, save it on another place, and compare yourself. So it's not that user friendly with the system.
Yeah.
And we talked about the speed from the LFO, and also if you play and you want to change something while playing, it will affect the sound. So in the menu,
oh right,
you can affect the sound. So you have control functions on the left side of the screen, and if you have a LFO sound, and it's not still okay, but if you want, I want some more effect reverb on it. Click, and it worked more.
Yeah, because the processor's been overloaded.
Yes. So you can use that musically if you intended to. I went sometimes from very fast changing, and it would do a very strange thing with your sound. But it's not the way it should be.
Yeah, so I suppose these are the things that then, once people got to find out about this, then this would have been a bit of a killer on the sales front. So was the D70 a failure then in terms of as a product?
Yes. I think so, because the restrictions, because the rush development, it just turned out that good, like they wanted, and you also have the DLM function on the wave, so so you could with one waveform, and you could change it, and it's really horrible if you just turn it on. You just have to go, because digital distortion sounds like that. it's good for a scary movie, perhaps, but it's very hard to make something musical with that.
Yeah.
And well, basically, it's just a runner for the DV80. So, and that was a success.
Yeah.
And well, while the Roland D-70 had 19th, still the 19th version for the firmware, the DV80 came out with just only one. So you have only firmware 1, and it was really complete product. It was good, and it's not. When I compare, they're just not that big difference between the synths, but the architecture of the DV80 is just much better. Tone-wise, the DV80 is a bit darker. Then the D70 is more that CD sound quality, very bright. But when you compare the waves, what's inside the EV80, it's not that different a bit. But guitars are sounding a bit better. But and well, you have something like the DLM, I think FMX or something setting with a wave, so you it's much more better sounding. Also adding a little bit some kind of distortion to the sound of the 80. So they well made better changes. Well, like the DLM, it was not a success, but they have a very kind version of it in the EV80. They put it there.
Yeah. So really, so it seems like the Roland's kind of learnt the mistakes with the D70, and then the DV80, which I suppose could have been called the D80. Really, that because it is a successor, isn't it? But they must have thought to get a new brand name in.
Yes, I think so. And yeah, well, we know one of the better things is it's a new system. They didn't use Intel anymore. They had I don't know, but it's a custom processor, so not the standard processor anymore. And so they learned a lot, I think, from the D70 development. And they went on, and the EV80, the memory card is the same, but the PCM card is a newer type, and you have, of course, the boards, the 80 megabyte boards you can add, and that makes, of course, the instrument much more possible than with the D70, for which they released also PCM cards, and there are 2 PCM cards for the D70 from Roland, and you can use 15U cards, so from the new series. And well, when I look to it, you have 7 cards from the U110, which are not that really great sounding, not that fresh sounding, and you have 3 cards from the area of the U20 and the D70, so they have the same sounds in it. You can't use them, or you can use them, but it's no use to use them on the U20. But they thought also it's not useful to use them on the D70. That's not true, because they probably changed last minute what waves were inside it. So the D70 has but more digital waves and instrument waves, just like probably they learned from SI-77 used the sounds with multiple samples, and then they went to some sounds with only one wave.
Yeah.
And I think Roland did learn from, that we can use that also. So they used some, there are some wave sounds in the D70 what are not in the U20. So there are cards that have the same sounds you have, but there still are some interesting sounds on this card. And you have 2 new library cards like sound effects and trombone, and then you create some GV80 sounds. So in Holland they advertised it as GV80 sounds, and the strings are really from the GV80, the stereo strings, and they had guitar and brass cards. But for the D70 only, they had 2 cards, and they are really nice because they have the GD800 sounds.
Oh, right. Yeah, I was going to ask about what the relationship is with the JD800.
Yes. So basically, I think it's not that much the same. The GD800 is very much more GV series than D7 series. But well, it makes it interesting for the D70 because you have those sounds of the U series, bits of its own sounds, and you have the GV80 sound likes, and you have the GD800 sounds. 25 on one card, and the first card they released, there are only 5 sounds of the GD800, and there were some bass sounds added on the card. And well, but the second card is really a nice card. It's the SPLA03 SPLA03 card. It's a card set with sounds. And so you have 2 cards, 1 wave and a patch card, and it's Korg used that for the M series, the M1. You have all those card sets. I think 15 card sets with PCM and patches programmed for it. And so Yamaha had that about 8 card sets for the SI-77, and well, just Roland came with one set like that, because the other cards you bought the wave card, and then you had the option to buy also the data card, and it's something they also did much better with the GV series. So with the GV80, if you had a wave card, you also had some patches on it that you can load. So they learned a lot to make things better.
Yeah, I think it's funny that the JD800 was the synth at the time when that came out. That was the one I was interested in, because it's got all the sliders and everything on it. But even the engine is quite different, isn't it, from the D70? It's a bit more virtual analog, but I guess it shares some of the waveforms of the sample sounds the same on both synths.
Yeah, the most samples from the 800s are really different than the D70, so they don't share that much. And but what's also in the development with Roland from the analog age to the digital, of course, difference between in the company, the people that wanted to have like the old gear, you have sliders and controls. So you see it with the D50, you can buy a programmer with
yes.
The D10, they went out with a programmer, and then they had the D70. You don't have a programmer, but you have 4 sliders on the machine, and you can really do nice things with that, like playing with, of course, resonance, cutoff frequency, and but you have to do it. It's for the 4 tones. So if you have a patch with 4 tones, a very complex patch, and you want to change something, it's you can't combine it. So it's all for but you have you can program it. You can program. There's also a C1 slider. For volume and brightness and C1. So you have there also a control slider that you can program, but you have to go down program level to make it that you can adjust the whole resonance for the patch in one.
Yeah, so you can control all the parts with one fader. Yeah.
Yes, and there are limited options like volume panning that you can choose. But interesting is that if you go to a menu in the edit mode, you can also use things from the edit mode on the control panel. So you can assign on those pages what you want to do with the slider. So and it's handy for programming, but also for live playing. It's nice because it doesn't have the if you take 1, 2, 3, 4 4 different things to do with the sliders, and it doesn't affect your sound like you're typing in the system. So it works neatly.
Oh right, yeah. So you don't slow it all down.
But you can see here they choose something of the analog system to add with the slider control. Compared to GX7, you don't have control like it's all those buttons, and also they went out after that with the ED800 with full control. Yeah. And strangely, that's their last really at that time the last synth with that system. So it's strange they didn't go from the D50 and make a better D50 like, and strange they didn't make a better ED800.
Yeah, because it kind of took the JD990 and sort of shrunk it down a bit, didn't they? And then I suppose so. It's really from the D50, sort of branched between the JD800 and the other JD range, and then like you said, the D70 to the JV range, and they went in 2 different directions. Then is it a sort of brighter synth, or than the D50, or what do the samples sound like?
Yeah, so there are really those digital waves, like, and all those synth waves. They are really great. They sampled also from the D50, the Fantasia sound, like that sort of stuff. You can find it, but because of the system, it's a big sound synth really, and you have Enigma, that's a good reference for use of the synth, that's patch sounding. So that's okay. Yeah, at this time, if you compare, the guitar, yes, it's just you don't want that. It's not a guitar.
Yeah, and, I mean, at that time they were really going for recreating analog, synth, and sorry, they were recreating actual real instruments, weren't they? Trying to recreate them, and it wasn't about synthesizers too much. It was about actually guitars and pianos and strings, actually recreating those analog instruments.
Yes, and of course there are some things of that, but perhaps we were in that time also from we can play really piano. We can play really guitar. Then I've probably user demands also changed because the sound changed, and we went with it. I think.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that was the trend then, wasn't it? And then, like you said, Enigma had those big pad sounds and sort of flute type sounds and that kind of thing. So that's you can really hear that in that era of sound.
Yes, a lot of reverb. Basically the basic set, factory set of the D70. It's about really great reverb sounds, and yes, but you can do really nice things with the instruments, and I try to make to expand it, because the U20 had 6 tones you can add in one patch, and the 70 only had 4 tones you can use in the patch.
I suppose then, second-hand prices compared to, say, the D50, is the D70, because it's less popular, less well-known, are they fairly cheap to get second-hand?
Yes, but it's always a bit strange on the on the market. Some people ask, 400 euros, but notably, it's more like 175 euros. So 75 euros. I bought a second D70.
Wow.
But because there are also some modern problems with the D70 that the SI77 doesn't have. SI77 is really a rocked keyboard that has no issues at all. And the D70 has problems like most Rolands of the time have. So the EV series have the problems. The ED8 you have the problems. Keys not sounding, not making sound. And I noticed that was mainly because they don't like dust. So you can open up the synth and you look at it, and it's not it's not dirty. Still, you clean a bit and put it together, and it's most of the keys will work again. So you have really to use a dust cover on those instruments, or in time it will go very bad. And also they have the famous red glue issue.
Yeah.
So there are weights, key weights glued, and with higher temperatures here, if you go to 30 degrees in the summer, they will fall off.
Yeah, the glue sort of melts, doesn't it, and the weights come off, and it's quite a bit of work to get it cleaned up back again.
Yes, at first I thought that that is the issue of the keys. It's because of the red glue, but it's different. It's really different to get a good keyboard. D70. So most keyboards always have some issues.
Right. So it's something to watch out for here.
Yes, and well, that's basically if you're looking for an instrument like that at this time. But I would not pay that much for the instrument. It's just like the GV80 is also not that popular prices. It's only the GD800 that has crazy prices. If you compare it to new synths you can buy now, or nearly new synths on the second-hand market, prices are well.
Yeah, I suppose it's the famous ones, isn't it? The D50, the JD800, JD880, and the ones that are the famous ones. I think the D70 goes under the radar a bit. Although, like I said, I do, and I think a lot of people think of it as the super D50, which is not really. But then I suppose that's why people are secondhand to try and sell them at €400 because they're claiming it's a super D50 when it's not really. It's more like an upgraded U20, which are quite cheap. I've seen U20s quite cheap on eBay and places like that.
Yes. It's a bit upgraded U20, but also a bit downgraded.
Yeah.
So, yes. Also in the U20 system has when you have a waveform. They always have a waveform with a detune function, waveform with octave. So even if you can stack 6 voices, 6 waves with the U20, and the D70 normally 4. But when you use some waveforms that are stacked with each other, you can easily go. You can actually really use 12 waveforms on the U20. So, and you have done. They left that system out on the D70, and it's very strange. But 1 year later of the D70, there is one more instrument of the family. It's the MV30. It's like the sound canvas series.
Yes.
And it's the predecessor of that series, really, and it has all the functions of the D70, but you only for one tone. So you can make patches with 4. You only have one, but you have the filter of the D70, and you don't have the DLM function. But otherwise, the sound set is the same, but the controls are not the same in values, and also it has the function of stacking sounds together, the velocity switch in pre-programmed for sounds like that. And so it's really strange why they left it out on the D70.
Yeah. They probably just, like you said at the beginning, it's just been the question of time to try and get this thing released, and they just chopped off some features which they just thought maybe they didn't need, or they weren't critical.
Yes, or they knew they were using the processor that couldn't handle all those functions that instruments have. So because otherwise, if you had that functions, it would be possible with the D70 to make a patch with 8 voices, really, that use the polyphony of 8, and it was just consuming too much.
Yeah. So it's a fascinating story. So really, the D70 is a sort of a story of rush to market, some branding issues and everything else. But actually, it's a flawed machine with its own character. But then future generation machines learnt from that. So I think it's a really interesting tale, and I think it's great that you're creating new sounds for the D70. You're still programming the D70. I think that's I think that's really interesting. I think it's great when you get a synth like that. It doesn't matter how old it is, and you really focus on it. You can create some, you can actually get great sounds and really get into a synth that it might be, I don't know, nearly 30 odd years old, but it's great to, just to really focus on something and bring out some new stuff. So I think it's great work that you're doing on that.
Yes, yeah, thank you.
And if someone wants to buy these patches, or can they get these from you?
Yes. I have. I did music publishing before, and the market for the books has really fallen down here in Holland because normally you would teach and you have a book and we start teaching, or we start playing this, and now mostly people come and I want to play this. So the way of teaching changed, and the way the book sold. So and then I went programming. So I just make it. I play keyboard now. I've written about more than 70 books for keyboard and piano, and yes, I just market PKM from play keyboard now.
Yeah.
PKM sound.
Well, so if you send me the links to the sounds, then I'll include those in the video description and on the podcast as well, so anybody can check those out. If you've got a D70, I guess it's well worth checking those out, because it could bring a whole new life to the synth with some new sound, fresh sound, and it sounds like it's not the easiest synth to program. So it's probably it's better to get the sounds from you than to spend too much time trying to get into the sound design of it.
Yes, it can really take up a lot of time, and if you're especially interested in all those different cards, which Roland just didn't give patches for, and you can see on my YouTube channel for the D70. I just made a lot of videos showing those sounds, but it was before I fixed my keyboard. So the last videos I just made, perhaps I had 15 tones.
That's brilliant. So also, if you send me your YouTube channel links as well, and I'll put all those on the video descriptions as well.
Yes, okay, I will do.
Well, it's been absolutely brilliant talking to you. Really enjoyed that chat, talking about a synth that I didn't know very much of. It just wasn't on my radar at the time, so I'm really pleased to talk about it. And it's great to talk about a synth that's not just the greatest of all time. It's its own thing, and it's got its own character. So I really did enjoy chatting with you tonight.